Hi, my name is Mindy. A couple of people have asked me to do a video based on my lap band experience, or lack of lap band experience, I guess I should say, and the issues that I had with it. So this is the first video I've ever done, and I feel really stupid. And it's my day off, so you're lucky I have makeup on. Anyway, I'm bad with dates, and I'll put some links, or try to put some links to my blog that kind of goes into a little bit more detail about stuff. Basically, I had the lap band in 2006. It was a couple years old whenever I got it. I researched it over and over and over and felt like it was the best choice for me. Back then, it was being sold as being less invasive and not temporary, or I'm sorry, not permanent, and that you could have it removed if you needed to. So that was kind of the selling point for me on it, as versus gastric bypass, which was permanent. They cut your stomach and all that good stuff. So I had the lap band in 2006 and did fairly well with it, or so I thought. I was 250 pounds when I started, and I was 125 pounds at 10 months, which I had actually um, gained a little bit more weight because people said I didn't look healthy. So I got up to about 130, 140, which I was comfortable with that. At my 1 year mark, my anniversary, I slipped my band. When slipping your band is where the bottom of your stomach comes up through the lap band, and it can be serious if you don't get it taken care of, or if it's a serious slip. Mine was a pretty major slip the first time, and I was about 4 hours away from emergency surgery. But after they unfilled my lap band, my stomach slipped back down, and I didn't need surgery. That was the first slip. A couple weeks later, I slipped it again. We think that the band didn't fully heal the first time and didn't fully go back to the way it was supposed to. So that's why it slipped again. I went for about a year, year and a half maybe, without any fill or trying to get a fill, mainly because I couldn't afford it. After the first year, my fills were anywhere from $125 to $250 per fill. That's not including unfills. And every time I got a fill, I'd have to get at least one unfill. I was just not tolerating the fills very well, and I would get swollen, and food wouldn't go down, and all kinds of issues. But anyway, so after I slipped my band the second time and went for a year without having any fills, I gained, I don't even know how much, probably 50 pounds back in a year. And I went to go get filled for the last time, and my doctor said, "We can't fill your band. If we fill it, it's going to cut off your esophagus." And what happened was I had built scar tissue up around the inside of my esophagus and on the inside of my band, and I had no room. If they had filled it, it would have cut off my esophagus. So, needless to say, at that point, I was pretty devastated because I had a $14,000 piece of junk in my body that I just couldn't use. So, I went for a while and things were okay. I could kind of eat. I couldn't. Some days I could, some days I couldn't, which is typical for the lap band anyway. But slowly, progressively, it got worse, and it got to where I couldn't eat solid protein at all. And the last year before I had my revision surgery, I pretty much lived on milkshakes, mashed potatoes, soft, mushy foods, no solid protein at all. And what would happen when I would eat is either I could feel the lap band or feel the food being pushed through my lap band, or it would come back up. It wouldn't go down at all. So I ended up probably throwing up daily for a while. And then I just got to where I didn't want to eat at all, really. I didn't want to eat anything unless it was a milkshake. And people probably criticize me for that, but when you can't eat solid protein and you can't eat solid food, and the only thing that goes down that doesn't hurt are milkshakes, um, what are you supposed to do? So anyway, I started trying to get a revision surgery last year, and in 2012, didn't have insurance, didn't have the money for the revision. Um, was told by one surgeon I needed to get it out because it was a dire situation. So, kind of a last ditch effort, I had a fundraiser for myself with the encouragement of my aunt, and ended up raising enough money for me to get pre existing insurance through the government. Um, and I knew they would pay for my revision, but it was still kind of iffy maybe. So I went to my surgeon, who's a different one than who installed my lap band, which I'll get into that in a little bit. And he got everything pushed through and had my revision surgery. I should have only been in the hospital for a day. And actually, let me back up. I had a revision to a gastric sleeve, but I should have only been in the hospital for a day, and I ended up being there for about a week. What had happened was after my revision surgery, um, I wasn't able to keep liquids down at all, and honestly was kind of freaking out a little bit because I thought, well, I've gone through all of this stuff and I still can't eat. I made a mistake. My doctor assured me that it was either scar tissue that was still left. He thought he had gotten all of it, or so maybe we needed to go clean out some more scar tissue, but he assured me I would not leave the hospital without being able to eat. Um, a couple days went by and I still wasn't eating, and they scoped me to make sure that there wasn't any scar tissue left, and it was just excess swelling from the trauma of what I had been through basically for the last year. So I'm about 6 months post-op for my revision surgery now, and my weight's not coming off the way I probably hoped it would. I've talked to other revision patients, and their weight loss seems to be kind of slower the second time around, and I'm okay with that. I've lost 40 pounds, about 40 pounds since my revision in November, and I'm still trying, obviously. Um, so I went from, sorry, let me back up. When I had my revision surgery, I was 225 pounds.